Yeah. Two. Yeah. Aye.
Got over money.
I'm jacking the beat, you calling the cops. The yapping is cheap, I call you the ops. The rapping is hating, it's all cause of pop. You get a leak for the ball, get a drop. Feel like I'm wrong when I double it back, cause I'm making it harder to catch that. But I covered the ticket, I call you to visit. You tipping and hit up the cash app. Baby girl, been around for it, yeah. In the old days, I was stuck in old ways. Never really trying to flip the old page. Young man tripping at an old age. Thinking I was flicking, had a low wage. Led the broad days, then a slow praise. Thinking it'd be different, it would gon' change, then it really didn't. It's a cold game, yeah. Ay, all I really wanted was the money in the pocket. Got over money, but the money ain't the topic. Like Bill Doe and the money gotta stop it. Kid need food and the whip need juice. I'ma get these views when work hard, play hard, homeboy, everybody ain't calling out. Got a mouthpiece from the southeast, if you want scrap, stall him out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then I feel good, man, I'm balling out. I'm a rich man with a rich fam, Christ bars got me out of mama house. And I bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Big God, big grace. Big God, big grace. Big God, big grace. Big God, big grace. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Big God, big grace.
What it do, baby? It's your partner looking old, so fresh, so clean. You see that thing, guys? Take that down, pitch, and give it to your mama. And I want to welcome you guys to another edition of the Countermove podcast. We'll look at life from a wide perspective, leaning and reason together, and then come up with some proper solutions. So, if you do me a favor, go ahead and share, and subscribe to the channel if you're getting value. And guys, on this one, this is going to be one of those good ones. So if you're looking for a debate, this ain't the one for you. Do me a favor, hit that X at the top, bottom, left, right, whatever it may be, and skedaddle out here. We are about one thing, looking at issues and prescribing solutions as we lean in and reason together, guys. So guys, let's dive into this one. This is going to be one of those kind of masterclass type of feels when it comes to a topic. And I get asked this question a lot when it comes to real estate, when it comes to finance, whatever I do when it comes to business. It's about an economic economic theory that's been out there for a long period of time. It's mostly talked about in the economist realm, but not in the main street arena realm at all. It's a concept known as modern monetary theory, or MMT. And so today I thought it'd be wise for us to talk about inflation and modern monetary theory. Now you're going to know this as MMT, which is Mary, Michael, and Thomas, MMT, for modern monetary theory. So as I'm going through this presentation, guys, I'm going to be saying MMT. Okay, just know that means modern monetary theory, guys. Man, I thought, guys, it'd be wise for us to kind of dive into what this realistically is. We know what. Let's first kind of go over what the definition of inflation is, and we kind of know what this is. But for those who don't know, the definition of inflation is too much currency flowing to too few goods. Let me say it again for the folk in the back row. I've done a presentation on this before, so everybody knows what this is. I'm not gonna play a video, but inflation, the definition of inflation is just too much currency flowing to too few goods. Okay, that's inflation. You have the same dollars chasing the same goods, and so that causes an inflationary type of reaction. Does that make sense, guys? Get in, get out. All right, now let's dive into what modern monetary theory is, because when we talk about inflation, a lot of the economists don't say the word modern monetary theory or MMT. They give principles. They're speaking principle terms behind what it is. So, guys, I thought it'd be wise for us to kind of lean into reason together, guys, and see exactly what these keys are. All right. So I'm going to play a video fairly quickly, okay? And it's going to talk about what modern monetary theory is, guys, And then what we do is we'll kind of walk through kind of a little bit of a presentation. We're going to talk about the key principles of MMT and also the economic criticisms of MMT. So here is what modern monetary theory is. Okay, so let's dive into this real quickly and see exactly what it is, and then what we can do is we can kind of rehearse and see what's going on with it. Here we go. Let's dive into this real fast.
Controversial MMT theory. Modern monetary theory is an economic framework challenging conventional wisdom about government spending and deficits. At its core, MMT asserts that a sovereign government with its own currency like the US or Japan can't go broke and can afford to spend more freely than previously thought. Here's how it works. Point 1. Currency wizardry. MMT says governments with their own currency can't run out of money. They can create cash out of thin air, allowing it to spend without relying on tax revenue or borrowing. Point 2. Unlimited spending. MMT argues that as long as there's untapped potential in the economy like unemployed people, the government can stimulate the economy without triggering financial chaos.
Interesting.
Point 3. Jobs for all. MMT suggests a job guarantee program turbocharging the economy when it's sluggish. Point 4. Real-world focus. Instead of obsessing over deficits, MMT asks, do we have the stuff we need? It's all about resources, not just dollars. Understanding.
So that is what MMT is, guys. I'm gonna slow it down and we're gonna walk through a presentation real fast, guys, of what MMT is. All right, but it was pretty straightforward on what it was talking about, right? Pretty straightforward, and it talked about exactly what MMT is, and it's very interesting on what it is. So hey, let's lean in the reason together and see what's going on with it, guys. Let me see here. Let me go and bring up my little presentation real fast, guys. And then what we'll do is we'll go right through it, and we're going to walk through what this is, MMT, okay? Let's see what's going. Here we go. I told you guys, this is going to be kind of a masterclass type of feel, okay? So bear with me. Bear with me. It's going to be kind of a masterclass type of feel. So what is MMT? I got to do it like this here. All right. Modern monetary theory. Let's walk through the principles. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to walk through what it is. We're going to walk through what is modern monetary theory, the actual definition of it, MMT's key principles, and MMT's economic criticisms. We're going to walk through all of this, all right? All right? So let's keep going. Let's keep going, guys. Now, what is modern monetary theory? Well, let's actually read it together. Modern monetary theory, or MMT, is an economic framework that challenges conventional thinking about government spending, deficits, and monetary policy. Right? It proposes that countries with sovereign control over their own currency, like the U.S., United States, or Japan, can use monetary policy more flexibly than previously believed. Okay? Now, let's walk through some of these principles. Here's key principle number 1 of why a lot of economists actually like modern monetary theory. It's currency issuer versus currency user. Okay, MMT distinguishes between a currency issuer, a government with its own sovereign currency, and a currency user, individuals, businesses, or foreign governments that uses that currency. So it's very clear who the issuer and the user is. Very clear. Now, according to MMT, a currency issuing government can always afford to make payments in its own currency, regardless of its budget deficit. So basically what this is saying is it's saying that with MMT, you can print as much as you want because you have sovereign control over your own currency, because you have a currency issuer, the government, and a currency user, which is businesses, individuals. So realistically, you can print as much as you want and make payments with the currency because you issue the currency and you control that currency. That's what the key principle number 1. Let's go to key principle number 2 real fast, guys. All right. Key principle number 2. It says government spending and deficits. So now we're talking about spending and deficits now. Let's dive into that. It says MMT contends that a government can engage in deficit spending, right, without facing an immediate financial constraint. Okay, because why? They control it, right? It says it argues that government should focus on controlling inflation and unemployment rather than obsessing over budget deficits. So let's say this. Let's read it again. It argues that governments should focus on controlling inflation, right, and unemployment, rather than obsessing over budget deficits. So again, a free-for-all spending, right? Because the focus should be on controlling inflation, which is caused by more in spending than obsessing over deficits and budgets. Very easy, very simple. All right, let's go number 3. All right, key principle number 3: central bank independence. Right, MMT challenges the notion of central bank independence and proposes that the central bank and the government should work together to manage the economy effectively. Let me read it again. Okay, it's about central bank independence. All right, I'm gonna slow it down. MMT challenges the notion of central bank independence and proposes that the central bank and the government should work together to manage the economy effectively. Typically, right now, you actually have the central bank, Federal Reserve, and then you have the U.S. government. All right. Our central bank is the Federal Reserve, and you have the government. Now, what typically happens is they're independent of one another. That's why you have the Fed talking about interest rates, and then you have the government, like the House of Representatives, the Appropriations Committee, who handles the power of the purse. They handle the money. MMT is saying that the central bank and the government should work hand in glove together. All right, to manage the economy effectively. All right, here we go. Now let's go to number 4. Almost done, guys. Full employment as a policy goal. So now it's getting to some goals now. MMT emphasizes the importance of achieving full employment as a primary policy goal. That's its focus. It suggests that the government can use fiscal policy to create jobs and stabilize the economy. So now the government is in creation of jobs. They want to create jobs. So now the government wants to control the creation of the jobs. This is key principle number 4. All right. The focus is on full employment with jobs created by the federal government. All right. And here's key principle number 5. All right, here we go. Inflation control. Because remember, you got a lot of spending. You also had up front, it talked about inflation control as well. Now begin to that 5th principle. MMT argues that the primary constraint on government spending should be inflation rather than the traditional focus on budget deficits. Notice that the talk about not really focus on deficit spending, but focus on controlling inflation, which leads me to conclude that they understand that this type of printing is going to create inflation. So you have to control the natural consequence of the printing, right? Those are the top 5 keys for those that are for modern monetary theory. That's what that is. Now, let's go to So you've heard the pro arguments for MMT, right? Those 5 principles. Now let's go to the anti arguments for MMT. All right. So now you've heard the pro. Now let's get to the anti. Right. Now let's go to a video real quickly. That's talking about this as well. This is someone coming on talking about MMT. Let's see what he actually has to say about what it is and the natural consequence to it. This is an anti-view of modern monetary theory. Let's get into this thing.
More about MMT, modern monetary theory. What's the premise there?
The premise is that you don't really have to worry about balancing the budget by selling bonds or raising taxes. The premise is that if you need more money, that you print money, as long as you do it without abandon, with some kind of sense of responsibility, everything will be fine. You don't have to raise a lot of debt. You just print what you need. I mean, it's magic. Everybody that hears it now does love it. Reality will have to set in someday. At least reality always has set in the past.
So he gave kind of a premise what is at the end. Why I said it's an anti-argument for MMT. He said reality has to set in. He talked about the principles, right, real quickly. Then he talked about the reality has to set in. So he's saying this is not sustainable because reality has to set in. So now let's look at the criticisms of it. All right. Here's the criticisms of modern monetary theory. Let's look at the criticisms. Here we go. Let me bring it back up real fast. All right, guys, here we go. Boom. Share. Got it. Now, here are the criticisms of modern monetary theory. Criticism number one, inflation risk. Now, we know this is a risk because when you look at the principles, they were focusing on controlling inflation. So right off the bat, the criticism goes to one of the focal points, which is controlling inflation. So inflation risk. One of the major concerns with MMT is that it may downplay the potential risk of high inflation, right? Critics argue that if governments consistently engage in deficit spending without considering the consequences, it could lead to inflationary pressures. We know this is to be the case because of the fact that the focal point and the key principles for those that are pro MMT is a focus on inflation control, right? So we know there's an inflationary risk within MMT, right? Let's go to criticism number two. Here we go. Impact on interest rates. Because again, inflation and interest rates go hand in glove. All right. Critics worry that continuous large-scale spending, government spending, as advocated by MMT, could lead to higher interest rates in the financial markets. This could potentially crowd out private sector borrowing, affecting investment and economic growth. What this is talking about is we see this happening in real time now when it comes to our to come right now. We have printed when it comes to the currency we've printed in our whole history. In the last 3 to 4 years, we've printed 40% of our entire history currency in the last 4 years. 4, which is crazy town. And so what happens when there's a lot of printing, inflation happens. What happens is then the central bank, i.e. the Federal Reserve, then hikes up interest rates to control the inflation, right? So this is talking about, hey, because you're advocating for large scale government spending, it's going to lead to higher interest rates. This is true because it's happening now. Now, what happens is then you begin to see the economic consequences. As it says, this could potentially crowd out private sector in borrowing. They're correct. It's happening now, right? Affecting investment and economic growth. Exactly. Why would it affect investment? Very simple. It's because of the fact that whenever you hike up interest rates, the cost of borrowing debt becomes too high. You're seeing criticism number two act out in real time now, which then curtails economic growth because what? No money's been invested. Jobs not being created. You see what I'm saying? You're paying high interest rates, right? And even a higher tax rate as well. You're beginning to see how in criticism number two, you're seeing how this right here is happening currently right now. Very simple, guys. All right. Let's go to number three, right? Fiscal discipline. Here we go. It says traditional economic thinking emphasizes the importance of fiscal discipline to maintain confidence in a country's economic stability. Critics of MMT are concerned that its approach to deficits and debt levels may lead to lack of fiscal discipline. They're correct because one of the key principles is what? You print as much as you want because you have sovereign control of your currency and you're the issuer of the currency, and your focal point is what? Inflation control. This fiscal discipline is correct. So you're beginning to see these criticisms act out in real time today, right? And I'm gonna tell you why I'm actually hitting on real time data today at the end real quick. All right, let's dive into number four. Criticism number four: currency devaluation and exchange rates. Persistent deficit spending could lead to a depreciation of a country's currency on the foreign exchange market. This could have implications for international trade and capital flows. Why is that the case? Well, countries don't want a devaluating asset or a currency. They want your good and service, right? They want your good and service is what they want. You're beginning to see that when it comes to the U.S. debt right now, right? A lot less countries are buying our bonds. Why? They don't want our currency. They want our goods and services, right? Would you want to buy a devaluating asset? The answer would be no. So why would a foreign country want to buy a devaluing asset? Does that make some sense? This is not hard to figure out, right? Number 5. It says here. It says implementation challenges. Implementing MMT policies effectively requires careful coordination between fiscal and monetary authorities. Critics argue that achieving this coordination could be challenging, especially in democratic political systems. Why? Because you actually have one side of the aisle may want to be more fiscally conservative or fiscally responsible. Another side of the aisle may want to be, hey, we want to operate by MMT, modern monetary theory. That should inflate the debt away. So there's a natural conflict there. That's why it's saying implementing this type of challenge, this type of thing could be challenging. I disagree here. I understand the premise, but when one side is saying we need to be more fiscally responsible, and the other side is saying, no, let's print more, but both sides are advocating to print more, you basically are implementing MMT just by default because you have to, because you don't have enough money to pay down the debt. I'm gonna get into that in a second, guys. All right, let's go to number 6. Potential misuse. There is a concern that if MMT principles are misunderstood or misapplied, it can lead to reckless government spending and fiscal policies, potentially causing economic instability. That is correct. You're saying that now. This is correct. So again, you're seeing a lot of this criticism happen in real time today. Let's go to number 7. This is the last one, right? It says distributional impacts. MMT policies, if not carefully targeted, could have varying impacts on different segments of the population. Critics worry that the benefits may not distribute equitably. That is correct, because of the fact that whenever you print as much as you want to, which causes inflation, right, which causes high interest rates, who does it affect the most? The cost of capital gets a lot more, right? People begin to borrow more debt to make ends meet. The cost of goods go up. The cost of services go up. Am I sounding familiar? Right? Who does it actually hurt? Not the rich, the middle class and the poor. So the wealth gap goes from this to this, and then to this. This is the reason why. Because of the fact that the cost of living and the cost of debt has gotten too much. Does it sound familiar? All right, guys. So come back to me, guys. Come back to me real quickly here. Now, a little bit of a masterclass there, guys. Here are my thoughts when it comes to modern monetary theory, guys. All right, here are my thoughts. I believe the MMT policies are being implemented right now, and both sides are advocating for it. Not just one. Now, both sides do say at times we need to spend money more responsibly. Notice the verbiage: spend. There's very little verbiage about paying down debt. Matter of fact, we operate by deficit spending. Remember, in one of those key principles, you don't really focus on deficit spending. You focus on inflation control. Tell me this. When have we ever addressed the deficit spending? Never. After Nixon took us off the gold standard, we, by default, walked right into deficit spending. Guys, we are taking in as far as profit to the government, around like $4.5 trillion. Let's say $4 trillion, right? We are spending $6 trillion. You can't pay down debt when you are paying out more than you're bringing in. Doesn't make any sense. So what's the natural consequence? You're going to have to inflate the debt away. Just keeping it 100 with you guys. Guys, I believe right now we're operating by a modern monetary theory now. There's some principles that have been implemented over the years, whether it was in Democrat control or Republican control. MMT, guys, I believe is here because there's nothing we can do about it. The government cannot stop printing. They can't. If they stop printing, it's over. They can't. Why do you think that the Secretary of Treasury was saying? They were saying it's inflationary. I'm sorry, the inflation was transitory. Just making up words, changing definitions, right? Of definition of inflation when you have 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. Changing definitions, changing the calculations of that calculates the inflation rate. Why are they doing this? Very simple, because they are trying to implement modern monetary theory. It is here. It is here. I want you guys to understand it. It is here. It is here. All right, guys. What is the counter move, guys? What's the counter move? Well, you know, I ain't gonna leave you hanging. All right, guys. I always begin with this. I always say I got 3 principles, guys. Peep it, sweep it, and then keep it. Very simple. Let's go to peep it first. Examine your current situation. All right. Ask yourself these questions. All right. Basically, are you operating by the old rules of money or the new rules of money? All right. Are you operating? One sec here. Gotta make sure you got it right. All right. Are you operating by the old rules of money or the new rules of money? Now, what do I mean by that? Well, what is the old way? I want a safe, secure job with benefits and a retirement. You follow what I'm saying? I want a 401k, IRA, Roth IRA, 403b. I want retirement. I want to be taken care of. That is the old rules of money. Here's my question to you. Are you operating by the new rules of money? I want to take control of my retirement and my financial future, right? I want to take control of it, not depend on a job or an employer to take care of me. I'm the master of my fate. Make sense? Now, let's go to the sweeper side. Here we go. What has your current monetary approach yielded you? Answer that question. How you doing with your retirement? How's it going? Doing all right? One person that answer that question is you. So depending on if you're operating by the old rules of money or new rules of money, right? A different approach. You have to take inventory of the return on investment that you're actually having. So the question is, how's it working out for you? If it's working well for you, keep doing what you're doing. If not, you got to make some decisions. Very simple, guys. Is your approach working out? Is it? Don't know. One person knows is you. Simple. But you have to be honest when you answer these questions. You have to be honest when you're answering these questions. Number 3, keep it. Again, I always say start thinking generationally. All right? Your solutions should not end with you. They should live beyond you. If your solution is just all about you, you have failed. You failed. Because once you die, it's over. But the greats actually bring solutions that live beyond them. The most wealthiest place on the planet is the cemetery. Why? There's so much solutions and potential that was never met, that was buried. Don't let that be you at all. Let that be you guys. Now, guys, man, give me your thought. What are your thoughts, man, about modern monetary theory or MMT? Are you for it or are you against it? What do you think about the key principles? What do you think about the criticisms? Let me know in the comments, guys. And also, guys, if you look below, guys, on the platform that you may be on, if you want to holler at your partner and have a discussion or you need help pointing in the right direction, guys, don't you worry. in the comment section. You can click on any of the links, man. And I actually prepare some presentations for you that actually can help you, assist you in kind of finding out what your purpose is, and kind of help you come up with some solutions, guys. Well, guys, that's all I had for today, man. Oh yeah, guys, tomorrow, every Friday, Cliff and I, we do Real Estate Friday training every Friday at 5 p.m. on all platforms, guys. We get in, and it's all things real estate. You know, I got a video for you guys. Me and your boy Cliff getting it in. Here we go. Let's roll it. What's good, baby? It's your boy Dale. I'm back in the saddle again. Our motto is to buy, build. We already bought it already, so we already own it, free and clear. Refinance to long-term debt, cash flow. That is the motto. Cliff, man, is that a pretty strong motto, man? What do you think?
Man, the model is strong. Like, you're getting each piece of the invest, right?
Yeah, guys, every Friday at 5 p.m. CST, we on the exact same channel. We're free training on real estate every Friday at 5 p.m. Come get it in with your partner and Cliff. We're talking about all things real estate, guys, and we're talking about a pretty good subject tomorrow, which is we're talking about the Fed chairman. They paused the rates. We'll talk about how that's going to affect you as a homeowner, investor, or someone that actually wants to create a side hustle. But guys, thank you so much for your time. God bless you, man. You know how I end it every single time, guys. Before you leave, and while you can, you see that thing, guys, take that damn picture and give it to your mom and them. Now say it with your chest and holler at your partner. See you guys next week. All right, y'all. Peace.
Long live the king.